What's good, everybody? Mr. J here, and hey, we are going to continue to talk about it because everybody is continuing to talk about it right now. I'm going to bring you my final thoughts of the Dodge Charger that just got announced 2 days ago. The unveil was 2 days ago, and to be honest, I was quite excited about the video itself, just the video itself. But a lot of things have come to light, it seems, in the past 2 days since the video. A lot of stats, a lot of numbers have emerged that Dodge was quite honestly quite mum on. I didn't talk about the numbers not being in there. It was a red flag, just because, you know, what are we talking about? We're talking about 0 to 60 time. We're talking about top speed. And those numbers are typically numbers that Dodge is more than happy to be forthcoming with. We didn't get any of that. So that was a red flag in that presentation, and it seems like some of this is coming to life, and it is not a very good picture that it's painting. We're seeing 137 miles per hour for the Scat Pack. Woo! Now, one thing that I did talk about amongst my personal conversations was that, you know, what has always been the knock on Dodge, FCA, anything, they're heavy cars, right? They've always been heavy cars. And I guess one consideration immediately after watching the video and not knowing what these numbers are, wondering how fast it's going to be, the immediate consideration that I had is, oh man, what I liked about the car is that they didn't design it like an EV car. I like that. They designed it like a car that people want to drive. They just put the EV Go in it. And then I got to considering, well, if you don't make the car like an EV, if you don't make the sacrifices that an EV makes with the melted jelly bean look, which I still think that car retains some melted jelly bean. That back end to me looks like a melted jelly bean. It's definitely not as sharp and angular as the design language of the Challenger and the Charger have been in the past. It's very sloped. And then, you know, the whole R-Wing thing, that's heavily influenced by it being aerodynamic and an EV. So it's not like they didn't make any concessions. They did make concessions to it being an EV, but they still stuck to the brick and mortar of it being a car, which I did like. That resonates to me. But the concession with that is, if you already design heavy cars, and now you're going to strap heavier lithium batteries to the bottom of this car, how heavy is this car going to be? And how fast is it going to be? My immediate question to one of my buddies was, hey, we're looking at X amount of more horsepower, but are they going to need that amount of horsepower just to get this heavier car to go as fast? And it looks like the speculation is no. Now, the word on the street is that this is going to be 137 miles per hour top speed for the Scat Pack, which again, this is speculation. I don't know where these numbers are coming from. And it's not that I'm doubting or refuting it. I simply don't know. So get down in the comment section. Let me know if you guys know where these numbers are coming from. I certainly haven't had time to do the research. I don't know if they're coming directly from Dodge or if this is somebody who is close to Dodge giving relative numbers. I don't know what the situation is. Hit me down in the comment section below. Let me know what you know. But when I heard that, when I very first heard it, somebody commented on my video. They said, you do realize that the RT is going to go have a top speed of 137 miles per hour, and the Scat Pack is going to have 136 miles per hour. I said, what? How does that make sense? That doesn't make any damn sense. It doesn't make any sense that the RT is going to have a 1 mile per hour plus on the Scat Pack. Now, I don't know, maybe that individual might have misconstrued the words of whatever's going on, but I do know that the number is 137 for the Scat Pack. So that's what's being thrown around there. Again, I don't know how truthful that is. I don't know where the source is on that. The one thing that I do know is that in that presentation, Dodge claimed that the Scat Pack was going to be faster than a red eye. And a red eye's top speed is 203 miles per hour. So somewhere along the line, something isn't adding up. It's a pretty bold-faced lie to say that this car is going to be faster than 203 miles per hour and then only deliver it with a top speed of 137. Like, that's egregious. Somewhere along the line, there's some hyperbole going on. And again, I don't know where the source is coming from that says 137 miles per hour. If that's what Dodge says, then all right. Like I said, the Hemi's going away was the lube up. We weren't in the plunge yet. That very well right there might be the plunge. That might be the plunge if that came directly from Dodge. But if it didn't come from Dodge, I would be more in tune. I would be more trusting in Dodge, what Dodge says, than what someone else says, just because that's the source. I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. Like, are you going to trust 137 miles per hour if it doesn't come from Dodge, or are you waiting to see what Dodge says? Personally, I'm waiting to see what Dodge says. Again, in that video, I don't want this car, but just because I don't want this car doesn't mean that there aren't things that I can appreciate what they did with this car. Keep in mind, this is a first generation car, period. Tell me the last time a first generation of anything was good. I'll wait. Case in point, the Charger came back in 2006, and who today, outside of a collector, wants a 2006 Charger? Not a damn body. Nobody who doesn't want that vehicle just for collective purposes wants that vehicle. Nobody actually wants to drive that. First iteration. So the worst that this car is ever going to be is right now. The worst that all EVs collectively are going to be are right now. Because the one thing that we do know is we bought a shit ton of Hemis from FCA. A shit ton, right? We bought those up. Those are the most popular selling V8s in the world. Maybe not currently today, but for the past decade. So what does that mean? That means we bought Dodge some equity. We bought Dodge the ability to push one out, bomb it, push out another, get a little bit better, push out another, get a little bit better. But if this car fails, which it at least with the Brotherhood, at least with, Mopar enthusiasts, it looks like it is not being very well received. I have seen a lot more negative than I have seen anything positive. In fact, I can't actually initially think that I've seen a whole lot of positive, period. I think I've seen one positive video, and as far as comments, and I've been in the comments and everything, I haven't seen a single positive comment. I've seen some borderline comments, like myself. I've seen some, I don't like it, but I'm excited for what it could potentially mean. I've seen those. I've seen some reservations, but I haven't seen anything positive on this car. So at least with the Mopar community that is established right now, seems like this is gonna be a dud. Shit. Oh, fuck. There is a younger driving community coming up who might really relish this. It's hard to imagine who that would be, but 15 years ago, it was hard to imagine that any kind of percentage of vehicles on the road would be electric. So in my reaction video, I did say, I think it's ugly. I don't want to drive it. It's not something that I would want. If a buddy had one, I would absolutely get in it and I would see what it was about and see what it had to offer. I would experience everything that it has to experience. I don't hate the car. I don't like it, but I don't hate it either. And I think a lot of people are hating it. I think a lot of people are just, I mean, let's be honest. The Mopar community is the biggest community of gas guzzling, horsepower eating, noisy, exhaust breathing people in the world. Asking Mopar to go EV is pretty much asking Catholics to become Buddhists or Catholics to become Islam. That's the real battle right there. That the real battle is not exactly the car that they can put out on the road. They could put something on the road right now that would be better than the Tesla Plaid, and you're still going to have the community divided, and a lot of people will not even look at that car or give that car any consideration simply because it's an EV. That ain't what they grew up on. That ain't what they love. That is not what they're going to accept for their future. That's the real battle. That's the real battle right now. The battle is not whether or not EVs are going to be successful. They have been successful. They are successful. The future is electric. Keep in mind, even though that Dodge put out this Charger with a V6 in it that, you know, everybody's pointing to and being excited about, saying that the gasoline engine still lives on, that's going to be a very limited run. I guarantee you that's going to be an extremely limited run, because what do we know what Stellantis wants to do? We know that Stellantis says that the entire lineup will be electrified by 2028. The entire lineup will be electrified by 2028. The reason that V6 exists alongside with these 3 EVs is because they know, like I always say, Dodge is very in tune with its fan base. Dodge knows what they want, and they know they don't want electric vehicles right now. So before 2028, when that deadline hits, they're going to give you gasoline-powered engines alongside the EVs. But they have to get the wet work going on EVs, and they have to do the research now. They have to do the learning process right now of making these EVs the best that they can, because the future is electric, period. It don't matter. It doesn't matter what the concessions are. It doesn't matter what the excuses are. That is what's going on. If we're not going to take it as every single car on the road, let's just take a look at it from Dodge. Okay? 2028. That's it. After 2028, all Dodges will be electric. Period. That is the mission statement of Stellantis. So there's no arguing that. Period. Okay? In my state right now, in our state, we already have executive laws passed that, barring the sale of ICE engines off of the lot after 2028. After 2028, if you purchase a brand new vehicle, you can buy used vehicles, but if the vehicle is to be sold brand new after 2028 in the state of Washington State, it has to be electric. It's very asinine to say that electric is going to fail at this point. It's not. That's wishful thinking. That's all that is. That's I don't want it, so I'm not going to believe in it. Which, just because you don't want it doesn't make that believing in it makes any kind of difference. Believing is what you do when you can't otherwise prove. That's what belief is. You believe all you want. Believing ain't fact. Because if it was a fact, it would be a fact. Believing is what you do in the absence of a fact. But getting back to like more of the positive though, like what I was going back to with this being a first generation of first generation car. Like I said, this is the worst that it's ever going to be. And yes, this one looks like it's going to be a bomb. But you know who's going to benefit greatly from it being a bomb? Dodge fans. Dodge fans. FCA fans. Because what's going to happen after this bombs is that Dodge has to go back to the drawing board and figure out why it bombed. Why did it bomb? How can we do better? And in the 2025 release, that car will be better. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. This is the worst that it will ever be. And little bit by little bit, Dodge will learn how to make a car that everybody wants. Or the opposite happens. Or people who are staunchly saying no, 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 no right now, without ever have even been getting behind the wheel of the car, never experiencing what it has to offer, start getting behind these vehicles when their friends get them, when they go to, when they go somewhere and they're able to get behind one. Two things are gonna happen. People are gonna start warming up to these cars. Dodge is gonna get better at making these cars. Before you know it, everything's gonna be right back where it was. Everybody's gonna be in love again. Yada, yada, yada. Takeaways to me from the unveil is that Dodge ain't out here trying to make an EV car. They're not. And maybe they're failing at this one. Maybe more concessions happen in the future. But the thing is, to me, my biggest takeaway was, till Dodge unveiled that car, EVs by and large are all the same. You get a light bar in the front, you get a light bar in the back, you get a big ass screen in your cockpit. You lose buttons, you lose features, and you lose drivability. They are making these shellless souls of cars that want to drive themselves and take the human element out of driving, as if the human element of driving doesn't create the bond between car and driver, right? They're shitting on what we love as car enthusiasts. Hello, we like to drive. I don't want no lane assist. I hate lane assist trying to tell me I can't change lanes. I hate traction control. If I'm not in complete control of the car, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to drive it. Let me turn all that stuff off. All of these EVs are the same. They're trying to be the most technologically feature-packed, minimalistic cars that they can be. And right now, they're all building them the same. What I have hope for, what I really took away from this presentation and what I really have hope for is that Dodge didn't do any of that. They didn't do the tacky rims. They didn't do the shape, all of that. They designed this car like a car that they think somebody wants to drive today. And then they put the EV innards in there. I have a lot of hope in that. I have a lot of hope in that. What I'm really hoping for is that since Dodge has done this, now we'll create a branch in the road where it is okay to create a car that is a recognizable car, that is a drivable car, that has buttons, that has all the commodities of a modern car still in it, just an EV. So I'm really hoping that the design language of EVs moving forward can change. That's what I'm most hopeful for. That yes, muscle car can still exist in an electric vehicle. And I already know everybody's in the comment sections right now. Muscle car can't exist in an electric body. Sure, you're right. It will not be the same. It can't be the same. It won't be the same. But in the day and age 15 years from now, when muscle cars haven't been available for 15 years, what are we going to do? Are we going to stop driving? We're going to continue driving these cars that are now going to be, 16 to 30 years old? We're going to continue driving those cars? Nah, at some point those cars are going to become obsolete if we want to drive them every single day. What do we turn to in the future when ICE isn't available anymore. It's not me being a fanboy. It's just me being prepared, looking at the landscape of change. What is going to be available? What is it going to be about? And, you know, what concessions are going to be made to get behind the wheel of an EV? Because at some point, something's going to have to be conceded. EVs right now are Thanos. They are inevitable. They just are. And we don't have no team of Avengers that's gonna go back in the past, a la Dodge's video. We don't have any Avengers that are gonna go back in the past and make Thanos disappear and correct the landscape of inevitability. We just don't. But that's all I got to go. Is let me know in the comment section. Most importantly, let me know where that 137 miles per hour line is coming from. If you guys know what that is, let me know. If you don't like this Dodge, let me know what do you feel is going on in the future. Where do you picture yourself in the future? Do you picture yourself staunchly holding on to an ICE engine in the future, not converting, just trying to deal with limited resources as gasoline powered cars slowly whittle away? Are you going to continue to drive older vehicles just to stay in the ICE community? Or at some point, given that this is the worst that the Dodge Charger is ever going to be, it's only going to get better in the future, do you think that Dodge can take what they've built and presented today and build that into a better car 5-6 years down the road? Let me know. For now, I'm Mr. J, this is Gotham Hemi, and we out.